I mean, I know it's easy for people to say, we need to save all the farmland.
I'm not in support of this application.
When I was a kid, we drove into Ladner with no lights, no stoplights. There was no Highway 17. You didn't stop for anything from East Delta all the way to downtown Ladner.
There is sufficient residential capacity to meet the region's needs within the urban containment boundary.
I always chuckle about my dad, who was chairman of the Agricultural Land Commission in the 80s. And he was madder than a hornet when there was a church built on 56th Street on pretty good farmland, the South Delta Baptist Church. But in the end, we had my dad's funeral there. And he said, what a great facility. Him and my mom went to, well, he didn't say it that day. But over the years, after he got used to this church having been built on that farmland, my mom and him would go to concerts and pipe bands, and it was a great community asset because of the number of people who could hold for functions, including my dad's service.
There is no need for more housing, especially on land designated as farmland.
A farmer nowadays does not have the money to go out and purchase more farmland, especially a young guy. And what we want to do here in Delta is give young guys an opportunity to say, look, I'd like to rent 30 acres from Delta.
Building on the floodplain is of serious concern, and there's a body of research that talks about avoiding building on the floodplain, period.
You know, I got to tell you folks, farming, as much as it's easy to get up and say, we need to farm every square inch of it, and we need to do this, and we need to do that, farming is not a board game. Farming is not something you play on your iPad.
If we are asking potential new homeowners to sign a covenant absolving the municipality of any liability, aren't we showing that the level of risk is such that Delta wants to protect itself?
We got guys that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions to purchase equipment to outfit their farms, hundreds of thousands of dollars in investments to put crops in the ground. And you want to see a risky part of the world to plant crops? Try right here in Delta. Try getting on the land in the spring. Try getting your crop out in the fall without it having flooded out.
I don't think Delta should consider any building on a floodplain until we have a secured diking system that protects both the communities of Beach Grove and Boundary Bay.
Brent Kelly got up and spoke at the public hearing, and he showed pictures. $75,000 worth of his input costs are still sitting in the ground, completely covered in water.
But we've already heard that we've got enough housing potential to be built within the designations already inside the urban, not on farmland.
We have $9 million added to this equation.
We know it can be farmed. 200 plus acres have been farmed, this season in fact. And we know the Earthwise Garden thrives. I support 100% of the land remaining as farmland.
On our farm, I'll never forget, in 1967, my dad said, we just cannot grow the crops like we used to on this farm. There's too much salt in the soil on the Paton farm.
Knowing that the tallest buildings considered are 3 levels above a parking level, equaling 4 stories by my map, is not supportable from my point of view, not in a beach community and not on a floodplain.
The Delta product is fantastic, but he said we just can't get enough Delta product. We're running out of land. We've lost all this good farmland at the TFN. And so Murray's saying if we can get, and I'm saying if we can get 80% of this land, if we can add it to our inventory of Delta land, we have got farmers that have come to me in the last 2 years saying, man, if this goes through, if there's 80% available, put me on the list. I want to get out there. I want a piece of it. I need some more land to farm.
One thing hasn't changed, though, in that time. In the last 30 years, a majority of the residents in this community don't want to see any development on that land.
You know, folks, I've lived in this community a long, long time, and I've seen the division, the hurt between neighbors that live in this this town of ours, and we can't just sit here and do nothing. Something has to finally be done about this property, and I'm saying let's go for it.
For all of the above reasons and more, I'm not in favor of this application.
As they do in baseball, you have a cleanup batter, and I guess that's me. I have always struggled so hard trying to save every inch of the agricultural soil that we have control over. This is not an easy decision for any person at this table, I will say that. For the people that come, I want them to know that we are a happy and friendly community that care about one another. Now, I see some people shaking their heads no. I really do hope that if it goes ahead, that people will begin to heal. If this goes ahead, it will be our business to make sure that those children and grandchildren say that we did the right thing. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.